Hello, Tim from Fair Play Now on the 21st of April 2023, and as you can see from my surroundings, the usual ones, I'm back at home after a few days over there in Amsterdam. Very enjoyable 3 days. We went out on Sunday morning, got back yesterday, so we had 3 full days there, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, which was really great. Nice place to go and visit. Highlights of our trip is we went to the National Maritime Museum, which has got all of the history of the Dutch East India Company, the VOC as it's otherwise known as, and they've actually got a replica of one of those old VOC ships there that used to sail all the way from Amsterdam right the way down through to Indonesia. And this of course was in the days before the Suez Canal, so they had to go all the way down to the bottom of Africa and round the Cape and then across from there. So an absolutely huge journey, and all on one of those ships. So that was interesting. And then we did a few of the other touristy things. Just went on one of those boat rides that you can go around the Amsterdam canals, and then otherwise just did quite a lot of walking through the various parks and streets, and just soaking up the ambience. Really good place to visit. And the reason why I'm talking about this, and also my last video, it's not to kind of be like, oh, look at me and how great I am sort of doing all of this. And if you're a regular viewer, I know you'll know that that's not what I'm about anyway. But it's more to show you that these things can be done now, and apart from the usual pre-2020 airport nonsense, like long passport queues and all of that sort of thing, there isn't any extra nonsense anymore, apart from, there's no lurgy nonsense is what I'm trying to say. And over there in Amsterdam, there is barely any sign of the lurgy at all there. Hardly anyone wore masks, as I said the other day. I just saw a handful of people here, just very occasionally here and there, and they were tourists, not locals. None of the locals seemed to wear them. And there's no silly screens in shops or anything like that. Hardly any stickers. There's still quite a lot of stickers around here left, but over there there's no sort of muzzle stickers, or sort of signs, hardly any social distancing signs anymore or anything like that. So really good to see, and they seem to have put all of that nonsense well and truly behind them, so let's hope permanently as well. But yeah, you could certainly go to Amsterdam without any worries of any nonsense, and I think that's the case with pretty much the majority of countries now. So if you've been sort of thinking or holding off travelling and for fear of that kind of stuff, I would say just go for it. Really, might be best to leave it, get a last minute deal and then just go last minute, so there's no chance of them bringing in any nonsense in the meantime. If you book it up 3 months ahead and then go, and then they bring in a load of stupidity again in that intervening 3 months. So if you get it, just leave it to the last minute and then go if you possibly can. That might be a way to go. Anyway, that is enough of that. Let's get back to kind of things I normally talk about. First of all, there's 2 people. There's Lee from the Veritas Vincit channel, and also Richard Vobes. I've been talking about him quite a lot in recent times. Well, both of these guys are on 1 week bans by this platform for the so-called misinformation, otherwise known as the truth. But these guys here like to call it misinfo for whatever reason. So they've both got a strike. They're both off this platform for 1 week. I know Lee will probably take the opportunity just to have a week off, I suppose. Richard Vobes, I think I saw a video saying that he's on other platforms. Rumble, I think it is. So if you just go to Rumble and put his name into the search thing, you'll probably find him there. But that, if you were wondering what's happened to either of those two guys, that is. So here, what's happened. So it seems like this platform are ramping up their sort of evil censorship once again. And just to let you know, obviously it can happen to me anytime as well. So I have got a few backups. I've got a backup channel on this platform called Fair Play Right Now. So just put in RIGHT. That's the only difference in the names between the two channels. So if you don't see me on here for more than a couple of days, let's say, if 3 days goes by without seeing a video from me, sort of look me up on Fair Play Right Now. I'm also on Odyssey and Rumble. And so if you just go to either of those and again just search for Fair Play Now, and I think on one of them at least you've got Fair Play Now UK, but just put in those search terms and you'll find me on there. And then you've got the website as well, where if I ever get pulled down from here, I'll probably be spending more time on my website, which is fairplaynow.net. It appears at the start and end of every single video, so you'll soon find me anyway. So yeah, it seems that the censorship continues. So one headline that caught my eye this week while I've been away, I've kind of ignored or taken a break from most of it, but I've sort of had a quick look at the odd thing here and there, and this one caught my eye. And before I talk about it, I'll tell you a little story about an incident that I had about 25 years ago. Back in those days, I wasn't settled into the electrician stroke property maintenance game that I am now. I had about a zillion different jobs, tried out about another zillion kind of different types of businesses and what have you, just ways that I could sort of do things I could do to make money. And one of the many things I did was, believe it or not, I was a wedding photographer for a little while. And not in digital times either. This is back in the film days, so that was really nerve-wracking. You'd sort of take these photos, then you didn't even know what you got until you sort of got the things developed and you could see the prints. So it was always a bit of a nerve-wracking week while I was waiting for it to be developed. So there's none of this, sort of take the picture and then you could sort of look at the screen and go, oh yeah, that's good, or oh no, it's a bit underexposed, or oh dear, the sort of bride's blinking or something, and then you just retake it. There's none of that, so you had to be very careful with the way you did it. But anyway, I managed to photograph probably about 100 weddings while I was doing that, and pretty much everybody were really happy with what I did, so that was a good thing. But I used to sometimes work alongside this other guy, and we'd sort of kind of do the weddings together. And if it was a big wedding or whatever, and this is one that he got, it's probably, I'd say, pretty much one of the richest clients I ever sort of went and photographed. And with weddings, when you're doing the photography, you basically basically do it in 3 stages. So you've got the bride at home shots, where it's sort of bride with bridesmaids, bride with mum, bride with dad, and all of that. And then you go to the church, and then you go to the reception. But anyway, we turn up at the bride's home, and the place is massive. It's a massive house, massive grounds and gardens, probably a good acre, I'd say. Fancy cars on the drive and everything. And anyway, we're sort of, me and a sort of friend who I used to work alongside sometimes, we were kind of looking at all of this and thinking, blimey, you know. and then sort of my friend, during a bit of a lull in the photography, he just asked the father of the bride, who was obviously the guy who owned all of this stuff, this place, and he just said, just purely out of interest and curiosity, what do you do? You know, and of course we're both quite intent on the reply. But I've got to say, his reply absolutely disgusted me and sort of incensed me. I'll come on to that in a minute, but I was fully expecting him to say he was something like, I don't know, stockbroker, top surgeon, top lawyer, sort of big boss of a big company, you know, that kind of thing, where you earn lots of money and be able to afford places like this. But do you want to know what he said that incensed me so much? His reply was simply local government. Yeah, local government. So I'm looking around this place, this huge, great place, and thinking, so what you're telling me is my council tax and the council tax that everybody else has to pay. By the way, council tax is our local government taxation. That's what it's called if you're not from the UK. So it just funds local government. And many people can't afford it, or they can barely afford to pay their monthly council tax because it is very, very high. And I was just thinking, so our local council tax that many people can barely afford to pay is paying for your great big house here and your sort of massive gardens. And I was just totally sort of disgusted by that and incensed. And the reason why that story came back to me is because I saw an article this week which was saying that basically it was saying what the top earners in local government earn. And I think it's a lady in Sunderland who is on about £500,000 or £600,000 a year. Then there was a few others on like the £400,000, £500,000, £600,000 a year. Loads of them were on sort of £200,000-300,000 a year, and all of this. And that's the big bosses of all of these local authorities here in the UK, and that is the kind of money that they're on. And I'm just thinking, why do these people have to be paid so much? Because after all, they're basically just administrators, coordinators, and all I want from my local authority is for the potholes to be filled and repaired, which they don't seem to be very good at around here, despite their huge salaries. I want my bins to be emptied, and I just want all of the local authority services to run smoothly. And I don't want all of their extra stuff, all of the woke nonsense and everything else that all of these local authorities seem to wish to impose upon us. And I certainly don't want their stupid 15-minute cities either. All I want them to do is just be administrators and just coordinate the basics so that local life is bearable. And when you consider that these people should just be acting in a role of a coordinator or an administrator, do they really deserve those kind of salaries? No, I don't think so. Because having just flown very recently, I'm very much appreciative of air traffic controllers who, again, are basically a coordinator of a type. And I've looked this up. A normal air traffic controller earns about £40,000 a year, and a very high level senior one with loads and loads of experience is on about 100,000 a year. And are you telling me that these big bosses at these local authorities, that their job is more stressful and harder than a senior air traffic controller's job is? No, I don't think so. And what I would ask local government is just administer and coordinate our local services. I don't want anything more from you than that, and I don't want to be paying your big bosses anything more. Okay, I'll give them the same kind of salary as a senior air traffic controller, 100 grand a year. I think that is the very most they deserve, and that would be for a big local authority. If it's a more modest sized one like my one, probably closer to 50 or 60,000 pound a year tops. So yeah, absolutely disgusted that these people are earning the amount of money they are. And yeah, I think it is one of the many things that is very, very wrong in this country, and I think these people's salaries need to be cut drastically. And if they don't like it, they sort of say, you know what, if you're going to cut my salary, I'm off. Yeah, well, goodbye. We'll just get someone who can probably do a much better job than you can, who can actually fix all of the many potholes, or get them all fixed, and who won't shove woke nonsense down our throats, and who won't shove WEF policies like 15-minute cities down our throats. So yeah, take a hike, and we'll just get someone in who can actually do the job properly and pay them a lot less than you. So goodbye. So yeah, that's what we should be saying to these people. And with that, I'm going to leave it. Turned into a bit of a rant there, but yeah, I just don't like these sort of government people, as you know, if you're any kind of regular viewer of this channel. And I'll leave it there. Time's starting to get up here a bit, nearly up to 18 minutes. So I'll be back soon. Tim from Fair Play Now. Thanks for watching.